We start this hour with newest information overnight in the fight against COVID-19.
The White House has a plan to reopen the economy, but it all depends on where you live. President Trump outlined a process yesterday to determine when states can begin lifting stay-at-home orders.
Yeah, right now we bring in Fox's Doug Luzader with more on the new criteria from Washington. And Doug, what will this process now look like?
Well, the White House now has a three-step process for states to eventually open their doors as this economic shutdown continues to take a toll. National Guard troops in Georgia load food into cars, helping those who are running out of just about everything.
I am out of money and just about out of groceries. I've got 2 kids.
At the White House, President Trump honored truckers who are working through the pandemic to keep stores and homes stocked. And a short time later, he unveiled a plan to get the economy moving again.
I think we're going to have a lot of states open relatively soon. We're beating the date. I said a date of May 1st, and, here we are. And I think you're going to have some nice surprises over the next few days.
There is now a 3-phase process for states to slowly come back to life. But first, the numbers have to be headed in the right direction.
And it must have a downward trajectory for 14 days, as well as the influenza-like illness and the syndromic illnesses, and a downward trajectory in the number of positive tests with persistence of high levels of testing.
And testing is going to be critical. President Trump's likely opponent in November suggested the administration has fallen short.
We're way behind on the testing piece, and I don't quite understand why we're taking so long to do the kinds of things that have to be done.
And testing has been something of a bottleneck. Ultimately, it will be up to governors to decide when it's safe to move forward. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
Doug, thank you so much. We continue to follow the spread of the coronavirus across Colorado, and here are the latest facts about the pandemic here in our state.
Currently, there are 8,675 positive cases, which is up from the previous total by 395. And there's also 374 deaths. Plus, there are 1,693 hospitalizations and 41,830 people have been tested so far.
Denver County has the most positive cases in the state with 1,549 and 63 deaths. In our area's 2 largest counties, there are 689 positive cases in El Paso County and 48 deaths. And in Pueblo County, there are 78 positive cases and 5 deaths.
While in Colorado Springs, UC Health and El Paso County Public Health expand testing guidelines at its drive-through tent on South Parkside Drive and Kids Care Point, which is about 1 block east of Memorial Park. Now COVID-19 testing will be provided to anybody experiencing fever, cough, or shortness of breath within the last 3 to 5 days. Now, hours are from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. Monday through Friday.
In business news, more than 100,000 Coloradans filed for unemployment in just a week, bringing the total to more than 250,000 people.
Yeah, Fox 21's Brandon Thompson is with us right now to explain how some numbers were expected while others were not. And Brandon, what are the biggest industries facing cuts right now?
There are far more people losing their jobs in hospitality and in restaurants than any other industry in Colorado right now. But that makes sense, right? Those businesses are closed by the executive orders. But the second biggest, that's healthcare workers and people who work in social assistance. That's even as we're going through a pandemic right now. One of the reasons for that are places like dental offices are closed right now, and elective surgeries are being postponed. And that could be a big revenue maker for hospitals. Colorado has the 4th biggest increase in unemployment claims than any other state when you compare March to January and February's averages. They're also doling out around 3 times the weekly benefits than the average during the Great Recession. You can't sugarcoat this one. The longer this pandemic lasts, the longer the virus is spreading, the more businesses are going to get hurt here.
You're going to have a proportion of businesses that will either still be struggling and they are going to be reticent to go back to full employment or any type of investments, or they will have just closed altogether.
So yeah, we can't sugarcoat it, but we can give you a silver lining. The reason that unemployment number is over 100,000, the state office says they're able to process more claims right now than they have in the weeks leading up to this. And Bailey says she thinks that defense spending is going to keep going, if not increase. So that's 40% of Colorado Springs' economy. Reporting in Colorado Springs, Brandon Thompson, Fox 21 News.
Brandon, thanks. Time right now is 6:08. And right now, if you're waiting on your tax return or stimulus check, you might keep an eye on your mailbox.
The U.S. Postal Inspection Services says they are preparing for an uptick in mail theft because of the types of checks expecting to be delivered. Stealing mail is a pretty basic crime, but it comes with some hefty fines and jail time. The U.S. Postal Service says it takes a team effort, though, to stop these thieves, saying along with the Postal Inspection Service, they get help from local law enforcement and the people who live in the neighborhoods where the mail is being stolen.
With one nice thing about us working from home and being stuck at home during this quarantine, right, is that we can now see the patterns that go on in our neighborhood. What time does the mail carrier usually come to our neighborhood? And if you establish that pattern, get out there and get that mail as soon as possible.
All right, so if you catch these mail thieves in action, the best thing to do is get a description of the car they're in, plus the license plate number and description of the person. Now, you can report them to the U.S. Postal Inspector or local law enforcement.
In military news, they are home from a deployment of a different kind. Soldiers with the 627th Hospital Center returned to Fort Carson last night from Seattle.
Yeah, this is quite the effort. They were first deployed to Washington State for supplemental medical support to an area hardest hit by the COVID-19 pandemic, and the 200 personnel were part of the national approach to fight and mitigate the spread. And now home, they will self-quarantine for 14 days.
We always say it's volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous environment. But I am so proud of the soldiers and the leaders here. They were able to go in and deliberately set up that hospital.
The unit is still on a 48-hour standby to deploy elsewhere in the country as needed.
Well, happening now, more local school districts are canceling in-person learning for the rest of the school year.
Falcon District 49 and Hanover District 28 have canceled in-person classes for the remainder of the school year. D49 says e-learning will continue through May 22nd, and Hanover will continue its e-learning plan through May 15th.
Yeah, Governor Polis first ordered all Colorado schools closed in-person learning until at least April 30th.
Happening today is National Blue and Green Day to help encourage more Coloradans to donate life.
That's what we're doing, right? So April is National Donate Life Month, and right now there are nearly 2,000 people in Colorado who are waiting for a life-saving transplant. So Coloradans are being encouraged to raise awareness for organ and tissue donation by sharing an act of kindness on social media with the hashtag #ShowYourHeart. And if you also tag @DonateLifeColorado, you can get a digital code for a free Starbucks, which you can use or gift to someone else.
Organizers say organ, eye, and tissue donation is the ultimate act of kindness, and last year 596 Coloradans were given a second chance at life thanks to the kindness of 191 organ donors. Just one organ donor can save up to 8 lives and heal more than 75 lives through eye and tissue donation.
Well, that's cool, and so is this. Happening tomorrow, a beer for a good cause, something we can really get behind and support, which is the idea now behind the All Together IPA being released in Colorado Springs on Saturday.
Cerberus Brewing and Metric Brewing have teamed up along with nearly 600 other breweries across 41 states and 39 countries to support hospitality professionals. Here in Colorado Springs, money raised from the beer sales will go to brewery employees at Cerberus Brewing and Metric Brewing who have lost work due to the coronavirus. You can buy crowlers at either location and share your collaboration with the hashtag AllTogetherBeer.
All right, now some more good news. Phil Long dealerships now know transportation is vital, especially for essential workers during this pandemic.
So Phil Long is offering employees who work for a critical business or critical government sector a free oil change and safety inspection. The service is good for registered vehicles now through April 30th. You can schedule an appointment at phillong.com or call 387-8968. Walk-ins are also accepted, and complimentary car pickup and delivery is provided for those who live within 10 miles of a Phil Long location.
And on Thursday, Colorado Springs joined in the nationwide Sound the Horn campaign. Take a look.
Thank you. They were honking for heroes to say thank you to transportation workers who are helping keep communities connected during this health crisis. Transit employees are also on the front line providing service for healthcare workers, first responders, and other essential workers. Mountain Metro buses across town also joined in and honked at the same time for this campaign.
I honk for heroes every single day
I bet you do.
of my life. Yes, if you want to give thanks to our local first responders, you can take part with a honk every day at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.